fix your product rule with two chain rules in the middle. And that's not the hard part. But if you think about it, like this is your A, this is your B. So I want the second thing times the derivative of the first thing. So the derivative of the first thing is bring down the 1/4, x minus 3, reduce the power by 1, and multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is by far the most common thing people forget. I don't need to do it here, because what is the derivative of the inside here? It's just 1. But it wouldn't be a bad idea just to write a times 1 there to kind of remind yourself that you are doing that chain rule piece. So there's the second thing times the derivative of the first thing. Plus, first thing times the derivative of the second thing. So bring down the 1/3, leave the inside alone, reduce the power by 1, and again, by far the most common mistake I'll see is people will stop there. But don't forget the chain rule. So multiply by the derivative of the inside, or negative 15x squared. And like that's the calculus, which I don't think is anywhere close to the hardest part of this process. But other questions on that? So now, there's two rules. One is you cannot have negative exponents. That's going to create, when I fix that, it's going to create two fractions. And then your second rule is you can't have two fractions. So I'm going to get rid of the negative exponents first. This 1/4 kind of establishes a fraction for me. So I'll put a 1 there and a 4 there. This piece has a positive exponent, so it stays on top. And I don't really need that 1 anymore, it's just kind of distracting, so I'm going to get rid of it. And then x minus 3 to the 3/4 now on the bottom. Okay? And I know, just from doing a bunch of these, and you guys will soon as well, that you're going to need to multiply by something here, so I'm going to leave a giant space there between my plus sign. I'm going to have to do some common denominator work there. Do the same thing over here. So I've got 1/3. That kind of presets my fraction total on the top and my bottom. This piece has a positive exponent, so it's going to go on top. And then I no longer need that 1 there. It's not going to hurt to have it, just kind of it's easier in my head if it's not there. This piece has a negative exponent, so it goes to the bottom. It becomes to the 2/3. And then the times negative 15x squared is a positive exponent, so that goes on top. You can put it up front, yeah. You want it up front? I'm actually going to take that 15 over 3 and make it a 5 also. You want me to put it in both spots? Are you saying the 15? You don't want a fraction within a fraction. It's going to make your life a lot harder. Yes. Yes. Other questions on getting to this part? No, it's just multiplication. So like 6 times 7 is the same as 7 times 6 type of thing. Any other questions up till here? So you take the derivative, that's your product, and you're doing two chains in there. And then we're just getting rid of negative exponents and kind of clean up the fraction a little bit. Now we need a common denominator. So if I had like 2 over 3 times 4 plus 1 over 5, let's say, what would your common denominator be? 60, right? So how did you get that? Multiply all 3 of those together. Sometimes there's a lower one when you're dealing with numbers, but that's not going to be the case here. So our common denominator is this times this times this. So what we're going for is we want on the bottom of both to be 4 times x minus 3 to fourths. This is not part of my work. It's just like this is my target, I guess. Times negative 5x to the third. I run out of room. Plus 3 to the 2 thirds. That's what I want to be in the bottom of both, because then I can add them up. So, what do I need here? Well, I've got the 4, I've got the x minus 3 piece. So I need to multiply the bottom by 5x minus 3, negative 5x to the third minus 3 to the 2 thirds. Right? Plus 3. Agree? If I do it to the bottom, what else do I have to do? I have to do it to the top. What do you think so? So here's one thing. I never said your name. So here's one thing that'll happen every time that's really nice. When we go to do the top, when you're multiplying bases, what do you do with the powers? You add them up. When you add up these two powers, what do you get? You get 1. That's gonna happen every time, because this power is like every time 1 less than the other power, because that's how you take a derivative. You subtract 1 from the power. So they're always gonna kind of wipe out when you get to here. Yeah. It'll be negative 5x to the third plus 3 to the first, which is then negative 5x to the third plus 3. But I'm not there yet. You're jumping ahead a little bit. Okay, what do I need over here? Well, I need a 4. This side has a 4. So then I need a 4 up here also. And then I need this x minus 3 to the 3/4. And I need it up here also. And again, it looks really messy. It looks way worse than it actually ends up being, because when you multiply these together, what's your new exponent going to be? It's going to be 1. So it's not like a crazy thing on top anymore. And that happens every time, again, because it's a function of taking the derivative. You subtract the 1 from the power, and when you add 1 back to it, it works itself out. What can I go over again? At this point, I think it's this, where this comes from. Okay? Far so good. I mean, I could have put it over here too. It doesn't matter. It's just, I know I'm going to multiply by this eventually, so I just put it next to it. So on top, what do I have on top now? It's just negative 5x to the third plus 3 to the first. I don't really need to write that part, right? Over all that same stuff on the bottom. So now I have like the denominator target that I was trying to get to. Plus. Over here, I'm gonna do 2 steps in 1 here. That step I think is pretty simple. I'm just gonna make that negative 20x squared. And then I have x minus 3, right? To the first, because I have 1/4 and 3/4 more. And then what's on the bottom is that same gigantic denominator. And I'm going to delete some of this in a second, so it's photo time if that's what you want. Yeah.
So how do the exponents cancel out?
So like if I had x squared times x to the 7th, what is that? X to the 9th, because you add them up. So if I have x to the 1/3 times x to the 2/3, what is that? It's x to the 3/3 or x to the first, and that's what's happening here. Yeah. Can you put this in front of this? This in front of this? Yeah, so on the bottom, I mean, if I told you multiply 2 times 3 times 4, doesn't matter what order you do that in. If that, like, multiplication, you can flip the order to whatever, like 15 high the best. Whatever order it came out on your paper or whatever. Are you sure? Other questions? Please ask. I like it. Whether you tend to clarify yet. No, we're not done. We're not done. Yeah, because I still have two fractions. And we're going to simplify the top. Yeah. You alright? Take a picture. So I'm going to just like flip from the bottom to the top here to keep my work going. So on the top here, I mean essentially you have this now, negative 5x to the third plus 3 plus negative 20x squared times x minus 3 over all that stuff on the bottom. And if it's on the gateway or a free response, you're done. Because all you have left is multiplication, addition, subtraction, like just general simplifying of the top. If it is on a multiple choice, they would go a step further. And they would make this. Oh, wait a second. They would probably make this negative 20x to the third plus 60x squared. And then combine the stuff on top. So if I have negative 5x to the third and negative 20x to the third, I now have negative 25x to the third plus 60x squared plus 3 all over. I don't want to write that again. Fair enough. So you're welcome to stop where the blue is. On a multiple choice, you'd have to be able to go through and match up. On a multiple choice, you wouldn't bother writing the bottom again anyway. How does that seem? Some people like these because they're like, I can just do algebra and like there's nothing to like. I don't have to understand concepts. I can just like do math, do algebra. Some people don't because they prefer like the concepts. It's long. There's a lot of chances to screw up. Nope. One of these on the gateway. One. So what's going to be? I mean, what sucks is you do that whole problem. You get down to here and you write a plus there. And you just lost 10% of your time. So, yeah, it's like, it's very rare. I've had people like throw papers at me before. Yeah, don't do that, please. So, the idea is like, it's very, we talked about it a little bit before, it's very easy to say like, oh, it's just a mistake. I understand it, that's no big deal. At the end of the day, it's still, I appreciate that that's a better mistake to make than like not understanding what to do. At the end of the day, it's still a mistake, and we want to, try to eliminate those, reduce those as much as we can. That's why I give you 3 attempts, because that is very aggressively penalizing you. But that's why you get 3 shots. Questions on it anywhere, or anything I can do again, or anything I can talk through again? So I want to do another one, but do you want to try it before I do it? Yeah. Okay. Let's we gotta do a negative one also. With negative exponents. But we'll save that for after this one. Try that one. So I can make the exponents negative too. we'll work through it. I'll try to stay like a step behind you so I'm not spoiling it. Then so you can also kind of check. Make sure you have this times 3 here. That's by far the most common thing I see. And then again, this 2x at the end. So go check your first step. It's up there. Okay. Yep. See, I just failed again. It's okay. I got 2 more checks. What did I do? I did 1/4 minus 1. I got negative 1/4. Either way. Yesterday, one of my classes taught me what a gatekeeper was. In my GPA, but no. I thought it was when someone's like you try to pretend that they're not, they don't like it as you. If you were like, I like basketball. You're like, well, you don't like it as much as I do. Prove it to me. I did this and this. You're not on my level. Is that right? You're right. It's tough to keep up. I live with gaslighting was too. That was it. That would be gaslighting. I think it was.
You could like ask man.
I just made it up.
Matthew, you're literally
I
not.
think he is trying to provide an example of gaslighting. I'm on to you, guys. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to remember. I think you'd be good at trying to write them out like that. You'll get better at it. Become an ambidextrous writer. If you want. Is it easier to write with a marker than a pencil? What?
Except you still failed the game, but
Still checking it over, but I believe that's my second step.
Jack, you're really
Yeah,
I'll see if I fail. What I do?
What?
So it's just 9 and 16x. Yeah. So yeah. So I think every time I'm not. Yeah, that's awesome. But you are. So I mean, not the first time. I didn't put the 9 and the 16. Yeah.
You just did like the jump.
I just left it. So 3 and 4. Yeah. Other than that, though, I got it right. Partial credit.
Partial credit to you.
Oh, Zach, you doing a
Am I good to go through it or not yet?
It's up to you.
Raise your hand if you'd like me to wait a minute or so. Okay. Drawing. Okay, we need to.
Evan, you're unfair.
So that'll be like 12. It's up to you. So that'd be a simplification that you don't have to do, but you would have to match up with the multiple choice. But on the gateway, no. Basically just that right there, yeah. For your answer? Alright, let me go through it. So, are we good to here? Okay. Then I need a common denominator. So basically, whatever's on the bottom over here needs to be over here. Whatever's on the bottom over here needs to be over here. So, I need to put a 3 and an x squared minus 5 to the 1/3 here. If I do it on the bottom, I have to be fair and do it on the top. And I need this, the 4 times 3x minus 2 to the 3/4, on the bottom over here. So I also have to have it on the top. Now if I clean this up, on the bottom here, now I have just all that stuff. And you are welcome to leave it like 4 times 3 times. I can already hear someone saying, what if it's in a different order? Yes, that's fine. So as long as you have those 4 things on the bottom, I don't care what order, and I don't care if you multiply the 4 by 3 and get 12. Multiple choice you have to. But for your response, like I just heard 2 people do 3 times 3 and get 9, so that's right. I just heard 2 people do 3 times 3 and get 3, so we know we make mistakes. You cannot multiply these 2 together, right? There's nothing you can do there. And then up top, what is this times this? Wait, forget the 3. What are those 2 things multiplied together? X squared minus 5. So you have 9 times x squared minus 5. Do you have multiplied together? If your response no, on multiple choice, you probably would have. No?
Right.
Wow.
Savage.
It's based.
Oh.
I agree with you until you multiply it together wrong, and then you're not going to be pleased. Wow! 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 Was that like a subtweet? So 4x times 4. Could you leave that as 4x times 4? Yes. But I just multiply it together because I'm good at math. And then this is 3x minus 2 to the first. So you are. Right, I'm gonna erase the top part. Do you want a photo? Was I in the photo? Ben, was I in the picture?
No. Yeah, you were. How does that mean?
So 9 times x squared minus 5 plus 16x times. Oh, this is just garbage handwriting. I'm starting over. It looks like that. I think his left hand is better than his right hand, actually.
It's because he writes slower with his left hand.
Here's another thing people do. Let me show you this mistake. Because I've seen it over and over again on the gateway. You get to here, and then you'll decide you want to keep going, which I understand. It does like look nicer. So you get what? And then you stop. So people will be like, at here, their thought process is, I'm gonna like simplify the top, but I'm not gonna rewrite the bottom every time. Okay, I got to here, I'm just gonna rewrite the top, but I'm not gonna rewrite the bottom. Then you forget to rewrite the bottom. You turn this in as your answer. So, and imagine how annoying that would be. You did the whole problem right. Like, no mistakes. Then you just forgot to write the bottom. So, make sure you don't do that. This is your answer. One of your possible answers. Yeah. Instead of having this on the top, you could also have that. You could also have that. How many feel like you understand what I'm trying to get across?
Yeah, I got it.
How many got it right?
Well, I mean,
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna give this to you. You're not doing the whole thing. I'm just gonna tell you like a certain couple that I want you to do. All I want you to do is number 3 and number 4. We haven't talked about like push rule really yet. It's just the name of it. So it's like, well, one or the other. So it'll be one like number 2 or one like number 3. We haven't done push rule yet with it. That's what we're gonna do tomorrow. Here's the thing: if you're good at, listen up. And some of you, I think, are gonna want to like. I'm gonna try number 1. Quotient rule and chain rule together are death. Don't do. They don't mix. So rewrite it so it's product rule and do it that way. Quotient rule and chain rule is like drinking a drug. So instead of putting 4x squared minus 5 to the 1/2 on the bottom, you bring it up and make it to the negative 1/2. And then you just do products. But I don't want you to do those yet. Just do 3 and 4 and we'll worry about that tomorrow. What you could do. So I'm gonna there'll be one problem basically like this vacuum game. Either be quotient or product. They're really similar processes. I just don't want to like. I want to go through one before. answers on there, you know they show you like a step before the answer? They do it a different way than I do. On some of them, I would ignore the step before the answer. Just try to get to their answer. And to me, that's the hardest thing on the game. But if you're good on this, we have another like lesson to learn, but that's I think it's easier for most people. That's right.
Wait.
Wait. The Quake Keeper. Better go, Ethan. Great one. Oh, I'm still recording.